Hello and welcome to Draw It and Know It. I'm cartoonist Dan Letha for the Ministry Reasons for Hope. And today on our art lesson edition, we're going to draw, step by step, we're going to learn how to draw a chameleon. A very interesting creation of our creator. So let's get going. And as usual, let's start out with our pencils. And so I'm going to get my pencil out here and we're going to start drawing some guidelines to help us ink in our chameleon in a little bit. So the first shape that we're going to draw is a big oval in the middle of our sheet of paper. And then right next to this oval, which is the body of the chameleon, we're going to draw a straight line that's kind of angled down a little bit. And that is the back of the head of the chameleon. Now we're going to draw another line that's kind of curved, and we're going to make that look like a capital letter D in front of that oval. And that's the head of the chameleon. It has kind of a crest on it. Then we're going to draw two little circles, one on each side for where the legs on that side of the chameleon are going to attach. And then we're going to draw the guideline that's going to tell us where the branch is that this chameleon is standing on, because a lot of chameleons live in trees. Not all of them, but a lot of them do. And this one is standing on a branch. And so his back leg goes up. We're going to draw the guideline for his leg like that, just one line that has a bend. And then we're going to draw a box, a little rectangle for where his foot is attached to the branch. And then the other leg that's in back on the other side of the body is just showing a little bit, and so we're going to draw that little rectangle for the back foot. And then the front leg on the front of the chameleon. And then the foot is attaching there on the branch. And then the other leg is kind of stretched out further, and he's gripping the branch further down there. So draw that box there where that one attaches to the branch as well. Now we're going to draw a guideline for the tail. Now this guideline is very important because it's going to really help us. So there's a spiral at the end. So watch how I'm drawing this spiral. And I make it go down, and it's got a kind of a consistent shrinking size of that until it gets to the end there. All right, now we're going to draw the eyeball, big eyeball on the chameleon. They kind of look kind of like cartoon characters all by themselves. Then the mouth right there, and the mouth has a little upturn at the end. Now we're going to draw let's see what I'm going to draw here. Okay, now it's time to ink. Get out your ink pens. So I'm going to start inking on the back of the chameleon here. So my first line is going to follow that oval. So we're going to follow that all the way down to where the tail attaches. Stop right there. And then we're going to draw the back leg. I'm going to use that line where it attaches and then go up. That's the top of the thigh, and then underneath the thigh. And then we're going to draw down for the other part of the leg, and then over a little bit, and then down for this part of the leg. And then we're going to draw just a little bit. We're not going to finish the feet because we haven't drawn in the branch line yet. So there's 3 toes on this side of the chameleon's foot. So we'll draw those 3 toes that they're curved around the branch. And then we're going to draw the bottom right there of the chameleon. We're going to leave a little space open for where the tail is. We're going to finish the belly, and then we're going to draw in the front leg, again where it attaches, and then the front of the front leg. Stop right there. And then we're going to start where the wrist is and attach. And then start where the wrist is, and then work up and attach right there. You can even continue a little bit to give that arm or that leg a little shape. All right, and then the foot kind of follows that little box that I have it right there, but not all the way. All right, so then we're going to finish the chest line. Goes up right about to there. And now we're going to ink in the eyeball. So again, we're going to follow that line pretty closely to how we had it in the pencil sketch. So ink that line in there. And then we're going to draw the pupil. So we're going to make our chameleon kind of looking back at us. And then we're going to draw a line around the pupil. And the chameleon actually has eyelids on it, but those eyelids are fused shut. And so the the chameleon is actually covered with its eyelid mostly all the time, except for that little hole. And we draw the crest of the top of the head there. And then now we're going to draw kind of underneath where the neck is, and then finish the front of the face, and two little bumps for kind of like little lips, sort of, for the chameleon. Indicates where the mouth is, and then we're going to draw the line for the mouth. Go up and turn it up at the end there. Give him a little smile. And then there's a little line kind of on the forehead there, a little extra detail. And then one underneath the back of the mouth, kind of like a jowl area there on the chameleon. So we'll draw those two lines. And then we're going to go back and finish that other leg. All right, so follow what I'm doing there for the leg that's kind of stretched out a little bit more, reaching out in front. And then we're going to put a little shadow on that leg there to help it look like it's behind or underneath the chameleon a little bit. All right, and then we're going to finish that tail. So follow that line, that very important spiral line all the way around. And then very carefully spiral it around and then stop it right there. And then to finish it off, all you have to do is right about here, draw a line up and make it a little thicker as you go up. But that's the tail of the chameleon. It looks kind of hard to draw, but actually it's not too bad once you know how to do it. So it might take a little practice, but those spiral tails are really fun to draw. Right now, so we're going to draw in the branch of the tree that chameleon is hanging onto or standing on. So there's the bottom line for that branch. Again, now we're leaving room for where the feet are. So that'll help us figure out how the feet grip onto the branch a little better. So there's most of the bottom line. And then there's some of the top. And now we're going to finish both ends over there where it's poking out past the tail. All right, so then the top of this part of the branch right between the feet there. And then that line right there for the rest of that branch. And then this one comes out from where he's gripping the branch. So right over to there. And then this one, we'll start right about here and finish that over there. All right. And now we're going to start drawing in some toes. So there's one toe there. How many toes does a chameleon have? Does anybody know? On each foot, the chameleon has 5 toes. And they're divided up into pairs of 2 and then a grouping of 3. And so those 2s and 3s are each fused together. And so it has like this pincher-like foot that works really well when you're climbing in trees because it's just made to grasp onto tree branches. Very, very handy. So there's 3 on this side. There must be 2 on the other side that you can't see there in that foot. And then for this one, we're going to draw 1 toe there and another toe there. So there's 3 there. So there's 2 on the other side. And then how many toes we're going to draw here? We're going to draw 1 and 2, and 3. So 3 up on top. How many on the bottom then? There's going to be 2 on the bottom. So his grouping of 3 up on top and 2 on the bottom. And toes are kind of fun to draw too. So that's another design feature of the chameleon are those toes are very, very unique. If you see pictures of a chameleon, you can see how they look really different from other animals. All right, on the back, there's a ridge of these scales that come up. And so we're going to draw, they're really fun to draw, these little bumps. It's kind of like this M that keeps going. So keep drawing that little bump ridge and be careful to get it not too big. They're kind of small little bumps. I'm kind of continuing down there. And you can even go past where I quit there because it kind of wraps around. So, and then on the forehead, on that crest, it also does the same thing. And so we want to put that little decoration kind of frill thing up there. And then on that little other shape on the forehead, it also does the same thing. And then that continues in front of the eye. So we're going to keep drawing that little decorative part there, and then down on the nose part there a little bit. And then underneath, there's sort of a jagged shaped scale type of thing that goes down underneath the chin. And so that's a different shape, not the rounded one up on top, but now it's jaggy down on the bottom. So again, it's kind of fun to draw, and it gives the chameleon, it dresses it up a little bit. And there's all kinds of different looks to different chameleons. Some of them have horns on the front of their face and all kinds of different shapes and colorations. And so there's lots of different chameleons. Now we're drawing some shadows on the branch that the chameleon is grabbing onto. So this chameleon lives in probably a forest area, maybe a jungle, because it's on a tree branch. There's some chameleons that live in the desert. Very, very different. So it has a wide range of different places that it lives in, and I'll tell you a little bit about that in a little bit. So once our shadows are finished on the drawing, we're going to start coloring. So that's my opportunity now for me to tell you some more about the information about the chameleon. So chameleons are lizards, and they're cold-blooded, of course. And chameleons in particular live mostly in Africa and in the Madagascar area, which is an island off the coast of Africa. Some of you are familiar with the movie Madagascar. Well, it's got a lot of very interesting animals that live in Madagascar. However, there are some chameleons that are found in Hawaii even. So there's some chameleons that live in the United States. And they're very diverse. There's lots of different types of chameleons. And so scientists have discovered between 170 and 200 different species of chameleon so far. And that number keeps changing because they keep finding new ones. So that's kind of fun. And there's even a chameleon that's so small that they call it the pygmy chameleon. And it's only 3 centimeters long. Tiny, tiny little thing. And what are chameleons famous for? They're famous for their coloration. That's one of the big features. And so a lot of people, I used to think that was just for camouflage, which actually it's not so much for camouflage. Apparently it's more for communicating what the chameleon is feeling, a mood, or if it's feeling threatened, or if it's frightened, or if it's trying to frighten something else. If there's 2 males that are fighting, they put on quite a show trying to intimidate the other chameleon. Sometimes that coloring can mean I like you or I don't like you, or sometimes it can be, if it's too hot, it can change its color to light, or to a lighter color so it will reflect the sun more. If it's too cold, it can make it a dark color, maybe a black, so that it will absorb more heat. And the ability to change color is called metachrosis. So you can impress somebody today with that word, metachrosis. And the chameleon actually has no eardrums, but it can hear a little bit. Now those eyes are very famous because not only are they covered with eyelids and so they look a little weird, but they can rotate 180 degrees in any direction. So it can look at two different things at the same time, which makes it really, really odd and unique. It can look at the same thing with both eyes at once, but it can also look at two different things. It can have one eye pointed up and the other eye pointed down on the other side of its face. And so very, very unique. That tongue that you don't see in this picture, we'll have to draw another one in the future. Another future Draw It and Know It. But that tongue shoots out and it hits an insect, and it's got a sticky stuff on the end of it. So it can hit an insect or a small mammal or even a small bird, and maybe sometimes a flower too. But whatever it's going to eat, it shoots that tongue out and gets it and draws it back in. And it's the longest tongue of any animal in relation to the size of its body. So that's also a very unique feature. The tail that curves around is prehensile, which means that it can use it as an arm sort of a thing. So it wants to hang on to something, it can wrap its tail around. So here I'm having some fun with the colors, and I've seen pictures of red chameleons because it'll turn red sometimes. And some of them have dots and stripes and all kinds of things on them. And here's kind of a bluish one. I've seen a picture of a chameleon that's turned blue. And so it's just fun to watch them change from one color to the next. And I've seen this color too, or maybe more of a bright yellow. And sometimes there's mixtures of colors in between there. So God has made the chameleon with these special skin cells that allow it to change to different colors. Now, I don't know if I've seen a purple. I'm kind of having some fun here, but so it doesn't change to all colors, but there's a wide range of colors that chameleons will turn into. So my favorite is the green that you usually see it with. And what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to take our drawing to a new level. I'm going to dress it up just a little bit. And so I'm going to do some Photoshop magic on here, and I'm going to render on it with some airbrush tools. And I want you to think about the wonderful designs, the abilities that the chameleon has, the wonderful design that God has put into the chameleon, that it can change to all those different colors, and it can move its eyes around in very unique ways, and it can shoot that tongue out at whatever it needs to eat. And it can even move around in very unique ways and kind of imitates branches and leaves moving around on trees, so it won't be found. So the chameleon is a very unique and interesting lizard, very entertaining. Sometimes people own them as pets. But it's interesting and wonderful and does all these really cool things because it evolved? No, it didn't evolve. God created the lizard, the chameleon lizard, to be full of all these wonderful abilities. And so we need to give credit to our Creator, not to a process that doesn't exist. Evolution isn't real. But the Bible tells us that God made all the animals, and He put all the information into the chameleon to allow it to do the different things that it does. And so the next time you see a chameleon, thank our Creator God for making such a wonderful creature. Well, thank you for joining me today on this Draw It and Know It. Watch for other Draw It and Know It's in the future, and I hope you have